Okay, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. I hope you've all been having a really good week, just getting ready for Christmas time. We had that winter solstice yesterday, so there's, all kinds of energetic stuff that comes with that. One of these days I'll have to get back into doing the weekly energy readings and those kind of things, but anyways. I did say in a community post that today I was going to do a very special kind of video. We were going to do a mediumship reading and we were going to connect with somebody very, very special. And I did a little meditation last night and I did get a small, a very brief connection with him. And it sort of just gave me the okay, yes, we can read on this together, we can do this together. So I thought that was kind of cool. Now you'll see I got my little sweater on, I guess perfect for the theme of this reading. My grandma gave me this. I didn't see her yesterday, but she sent it with my sister. I went to a family birthday party. And I really do love this and I appreciate it a lot. Now, I guess, since you're watching this on YouTube, you've already looked at the title. You already know who I'm going to be connecting with today. But when I was sick, I'm still a little bit sick, but when I was too sick to talk and couldn't do videos or anything in the last week, there was one day where I laid in bed and I watched some nostalgic kids shows that I remembered from when I was quite little. Now, we watched, I watched a little bit of Mr. Dress Up, and that's a Canadian kids show from the Mr. Dress Up started back in the 60s, but the 1980s, 1990s, I would have been a little kid in the late 90s, early 2000s, so I did catch the very end of that, and so I'm nostalgic for that, but I also watched a little bit of Mr. Rogers. And I really enjoyed both shows. Both guys just have this friendly energy. And I'm excited to get connected and get reading on Fred Rogers today. And in the community post I had made the other day, I said maybe I would do a political video today, but I don't think I'm gonna. Just not today. I need to take a break from that today. It's just been a little bit overwhelming with everything going on. So I think we're just going to do a mediumship video. Going to talk to Fred Rogers, our favorite neighbor, and see, just what kind of messages he has for us. What he's got to say, maybe what he's learned from being on the other side, and I think it'll be a really good time. So, get ready. It's a good thing I have a microphone for this, for my videos recently, because I think you guys can see where my throat is still kind of swollen up, so I have to talk a little bit softly. Oh, I think Mr. Rogers is here now. He's connected. I just heard in his voice, well, that's okay. I've had to speak softly all the time. There's something very similar to that. Oh, he's so sweet. Hello, Stevie Cat. Scoot your boot. Let's go this way. Okay. So I think he's here. I think he's ready to go. I just, first of all, got my crystals. They just kind of help boost my psychic connections. Some people use these, some people don't, but I like to have them. I'm just going to take a minute to just sort of tune in. I think we're good. You know, my guides, angels, they're always here. And I do feel like Fred is here as well. So, hello, Mr. Rogers. You can just call me Fred, he says. His energy is so gentle. And it's so friendly. I just heard him say, I was not a perfect man. I'm tongue-tied. I made mistakes, but I tried my best to be kind. Being kind was more important to me. I agree. It's very important. So now, Fred, feels weird not calling you Mr. Rogers. Where should we start? He says, my early life in television and in the production of children's shows. What about? You can look that up online. It's true. It's true. He's like, let's start with where I am on the other side. Cool. All right, cool. So you're on the other side now. Now, Mr. Rogers he passed away in 2001. And he just said, as did a good friend of mine, and we were just I was just explaining about who Mr. Dressup was. He's basically like a Canadian Mr. Rogers, except he didn't focus so much on emotions and, feelings. I guess it was the same thing, things like that. But the two were friends in real life, so. Now, Mr. Rogers, what have you learned since, passing away, since you left Earth and crossed over? Well, with these cards that I have here, he was shown, this is interesting. Okay, so during his life review, this is what I'm getting, during his life review, he was shown how, I guess, in ways in which he actually really, really helped people. This one, I just heard the burdens of the world with that 10 of Wands seemed a lot simpler with that Ace. So, from all of these heavy sticks, all of this heavy load to all of a sudden just one simplified thing. The burdens of the world became a lot simpler, or felt a lot simpler, I suppose. During some people's really hard times. And he said, and my goal was just to help others to be kind. But during other people's hard times, he offered up this Knight of Swords, or Cups. This Knight of Cups is a card of, something having been offered up. There's just the positive side of things. So during other people's heartbreak and hard times, Mr. Rogers offered up, things like hope, a little bit of positivity, a different perspective on some things. I'm being reminded of when he said, it may have been during the episode called Conflict, and it was an episode that kids were not really supposed to watch alone. They were encouraged to watch it with an adult. When natural disasters happen, or something really bad happens, and people get hurt, or people get very, very frightened. He talked about how his mother told him to look for all of the helpers, look for all of the people who are helping. I'm getting that episode, that in particular, had a very profound effect on people. I just heard him say, and I had no idea. He had no idea how much that helped people. I knew how much it helped me when my mother would say this to me when I was afraid, when I would read something in the news or hear the adults talking about something that was scary. It helped him see these situations in a different way. And so he passed that along to help many, many, countless other people. It's just like amazing. He had no idea, maybe some idea, but the full gravity of how he helped other people and just like how important his impact was on people until he crossed over. Now, sorry guys, like I said, I'm doing my best today with this darn strep throat. But anyways, okay. And then the next few cards that I have, I get a little bit of a double meaning from this one with the Temperance. First of all, when he passed away, there were many angels. I just heard the phrase "many angels" were there to greet him, and were there to help him to cross over, to make that journey, that transition. But also, the Temperance, when he spoke, he was very calm. He was very very balanced, I guess, and was very gentle in his tone of voice, and it just wasn't super, super intense, wasn't like really high energy or anything. He says, I made it that way to keep kids comfortable, to help kids to listen. And I'm also hearing some of that is just the way I talk. You know what? That's great. That's perfect. It is perfect. Just how mild-mannered and gentle he was. Just that energy that he had, or still has. But when he was on Earth and on TV, just that gentle energy he had was enough to help some people, to help some kids, to help some adults, to get through some of their difficult life situations, to get through some difficult emotions. I'm hearing, I liked to help people process their feelings. And that's good. That's good. And then when he went over to the other side, he was shown, we're shown everything during our life review, everything we've done and the way we've made others feel, and we experience all things from all angles. Whereas when we're here, we only experience our things from our point of view. I'm just getting this magician is showing me, when he watched his life review, he was shown just how much progress he made when he started out in children's programming, and He, started out as a background character, a puppet character on, I don't know what it was called, but it was from the 1950s, and there was a young lady that hosted the show. Anyways, from then all the way to being Mr. Rogers and inviting us, into his house, into his neighborhood. And he got to sit back and watch that. I'm just getting, like, he was very proud. And he was to sit and watch that in order to accept, wow, I'm getting an image of him, like, patting himself on the back. He said it was not to boost my ego. It was not an egoic thing. But everyone deserves to feel pride in their work. Everyone deserves to feel good about something they had started and finished. And now it was my turn. All right. Now, Mr. Rogers, he says, or Fred, he smiles, he kind of giggles. What are you doing in heaven right now? Or heaven, other side, spiritual realm, whatever you want to call that. His energy is so warm and it's so calm and gentle. And when he shows up to me, yes, he has this, sorry guys, he has his sweater on. And mostly so that I was able to recognize him. But he is young, like dark hair. And he doesn't have, as we get older, we get the wrinkles and the lines and, dark hair, nice smooth face. And he stands up straight, tall, just as healthy and good as ever. And yes, the sweater is red, if anyone's wondering. So what are you doing in the spiritual realm right now? I'm really curious. What kinds of things do you do up there? I'm hanging out with Ernie, he says. I'm guessing that's referring to Ernie Coombs, who is, I had mentioned Mr. Dress-Up earlier. Yes, he says. I think they passed away in the same year. I just heard him say, we did. Our souls went in together and went out together. That's actually really fascinating. So he hangs out with, I'm sure, other friends and family of his. So he visits with his friends. He visits with his family who's over there in heaven. What else? Goodness sakes. He just told me, be patient with yourself. You're sick. You just need to try to get well. Well, thank you. All right, what else does he do on the other side? He visits with his friends. Goodness sakes. He just told me to drink some water. So what is he doing on the other side? This video might get a little bit long, but I don't think I really mind that. Okay. Well, because we just went over, he visits with friends. Now, Six of Swords, he helps other people with their transition. Now this one, I just heard in his voice, children who are dying. And it's like, and when I heard him say that, like I got really sad. It is a sad thing, and he did say, I know that is sad, but there has to be somebody to comfort them and somebody to be with them. It doesn't really matter if they recognized me or not. It's interesting. Do you help adults too who are crossing over? I just saw him nod his head. Yes, he does. Those who are nostalgic for me, those who are nostalgic for my show. Okay, so he does help some people, children and adults, who are about to cross over to the other side. And I was just kind of thinking about, with the children, because he passed away nearly 20 years ago. And now, I mean, there are reruns of his show. And then there's a cartoon adaptation called Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. And that one stars like animal characters. But it's very similar lessons and similar concept. And so, some kids are familiar with that show, but he did just tell me, we are drawn to the right people at the right time. Some kids may not know me, but if I am able to help them, if they are able to feel comforted by my energy and by my presence, then I am happy to help them. It's a very noble thing. It is a very noble thing. Next, we have the Emperor. This is his father. What about your father? I have coffee with him. We sit down, we have coffee, we have tea, we talk, we visit. I get to have my dad again. I get to have my dad again. There's just a smile, there's just this joy. We get to relive moments. I'm guessing that means relive moments from their experience on Earth together. We get to repeat lessons, where when we did the wrong thing on Earth in heaven, we do it over again. But this time we know what the right thing to do is. We know how to do it properly. It balances karma, he says. And then I have the World card. He still keeps an eye on the world. I'm just seeing an image of him like looking down, and there's it's interesting. It's because spiritually, when we're up in heaven, we don't have the same body. We don't have the limitations. Like, for example, I wear glasses. I can't do anything without glasses or contacts. And say, like, up in heaven in a spiritual body, that's not an issue. And our eyes, our spiritual eyes, I guess, up in heaven, I'm getting images like they can zoom in really, really far. They can zoom out really, really far. And then I'm seeing an image of him just casually peering over a ledge. And there's like a bunch of clouds or something. And he's just casually peering over and watching the earth down below. My, how things have changed, he says. I like to watch how things change, and I like to watch how people change. I like to watch how people grow and learn. I love to watch people be good to each other. This energy is like, it's not like overwhelming, but it's just so kind. And I mean, I've done mediumship readings with a lot of, I guess we would call them good people, you know, like when we read with Carrie Fisher, when we read with Pamela Coleman Smith, when we, you know, but with Fred Rogers, like there's something just so genuine. Not that the other ones weren't genuine, of course, but just like the way he was when we saw him on Earth and when we heard him on Earth and stuff, that was real. That was real. He really was that kind. He just says to me now, I made mistakes, but I tried my best. And that's all I want you to do. Now, there's something else. I have a couple more cards here. Now I have the Seven of Wands. I have the Ten of Swords clarified by the Five of Pentacles. This is showing me. He stands in defense of those who are persecuted, those who are struggling, and those who are hurting. He says, I am very drawn to those souls. I'm very drawn to anyone I might be able to help. Now, souls have free will. And so I imagine that, you know, he's drawn to different souls that need help and stuff. But I suppose then, do they always accept your help, or do some hesitate? It's kind of quiet now. Shrugs his shoulders. Some people don't think they need help. Some people think they can help themselves. Sometimes they can, and sometimes they can't. But I always like to stick around just in case they can't help themselves. And I want to offer a helping hand. Now, I think maybe the last thing I want to get into now. So you told us that you do like to watch over the world. You like to watch how things change and people change and grow and what I guess lately a big thing in the news and a big thing in the US, and of course the rest of the world is aware of this and kind of has their eye on this too, is what's going on in the US government, you know, with Trump and with all of these really unpleasant people and really unpleasant things that have been happening. And maybe I want to know what you think of it, and if there's any advice or any help you can offer for us here on Earth who are, you know, currently living through this. It's a moment in history, I heard him say. It's a moment in history. I've got my eyes on this too. Okay. So I'm going to shuffle a little bit more. Now, how are you feeling about what's happening here? He's not saying anything, but I'm picking up on this sadness, this disappointment, and there's some worry. But the worry is not because, will this ever get better? Because it will get better, he's saying. It will improve. Things will improve over time. But he's worried for the people who are hurting and suffering right now as a result of the administration. Okay, now is there any advice? Any advice or any words for us? You always had the best advice. You always know the right thing to say. Any advice for us? Look for the light in the darkness. We're not going through this alone. Remember to continue to support each other. He's saying, be good neighbors. Remember to help each other whenever and wherever you can. If you can help a lot, then help a lot. If you can help only a little bit, then do what you can. Show kindness. Show love. Show support for others who need it. Show the world that there is still good in your country. Show the world that there is still good among your people. And show each other that you are good. Remind everybody of the love and the kindness that is innate in their hearts. Like and accept each other where they are, just the way they are. Now, with the liking and accepting each other, the way that we are, the way, what about those people that are just doing those terrible things, saying and doing horrible things, and happen to be in charge? You can disagree with them. You just got to remember that they are human too. And some people are so dark, not like dark as in like your color, but like dark as in like on the inside. Some people are feel very disconnected from the love and light of, what we might call God or source. That's what he means by dark. Some people are so sick. Some people are so misguided that they do these things for a variety of reasons. We may not understand, and we may not have to understand. But we look to them as an example of what is wrong, and we can look to our friends and our neighbors and other people in the U.S., I guess, other people, as an example of what is right. Look for the kindness in the hearts of others. Now, with these two cards, when I put these two cards down, because it's the Three of Pentacles clarified by the 8, the system is working. Progress is being made. Progress is being made. We will get through this. We will get through this. And the Page of Cups is there's joy. There is joy to be had. There is joy to be found. I just heard joy to be had and joy to be found at the same time. Now, it's not that sometimes I get this with other people that I'm sort of channeling, that I get a couple of sentences or words come in at the same time. It's not because he doesn't know how to communicate with us. It's just I'm still new to channeling and mediumship, and I'm still learning how to express the message. So there's joy to be had, there's joy to be found. All you have to do is look for it. And if you can't find it, then be it. If you can't see it, then make it, create it. With this Page of Cups, the page is young. It just is showing me like there's a new day ahead. There's going to be a time where there's just going to be this kindness and this joy and this support among like the citizens, among the regular people. And, you know, the regular people vastly outnumbers the politicians and the leaders and the corrupt. And it's just kind of, I can't shake this feeling that there's going to be this new era of just this calm joy. Calm, peace, and joy. We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. Was there anything else? Any other messages? Anything else you want to share with us? Anything else you would like to say? He says, I like you just the way you are. Thank you ever so much for connecting to me. Thank you for connecting to me and to us, everybody watching. This has been a beautiful opportunity. Yes, I am looking off in this direction. I do feel like he's kind of over here. I don't know why. His presence is kind of just over here. On the bottom of the deck, since I just shuffled, I have the Sun. Everything is going to be okay. All right. And with that, I feel like we're all done here. He kind of just did this little wave, and I just saw an image of him zipping up his sweater and putting on his hat. So I guess that means he's on his way. Bye-bye. I would love to connect with you again later. And I hope that helped all of you guys. This has been one of my favorite mediumship readings. I have to connect with him again. This was wonderful. He is brilliant. Yeah. So with that said, I'm going to take probably a couple days off for Christmas time, and I hope you guys have the merriest Christmas, or the, happiest Hanukkah or holidays, or the most joyous Kwanzaa, or, whichever you celebrate. If you don't celebrate any of those, I hope you have a good week. And we'll see you guys in the next video.